Dominic Toretto was never supposed to be just a hero, and Fast 11 is quietly rewriting his role in the saga in a way most fans haven't noticed yet. For years, the Fast franchise told us that Dom is the heart of the family, the man who always knows what to do, the one everyone follows without question. But if you look closely at how the story evolved, especially after Fast 7, something feels off. Dom doesn't grow. He doesn't change. He simply absorbs loss after loss and keeps moving forward like nothing touches him. And that's exactly why Fast 11 might finally expose the darkest truth about Dominic Toretto. He is not the glue that holds the family together. He is the reason the cycle never ends. Every enemy they face is connected to Dom's past choices. Every war starts because someone wants revenge on him. And every time the family follows him, they pay the price. Fast 11 has the perfect setup to flip the narrative completely by forcing Dom into a position he has never been in before. Being alive, but no longer in control. Imagine a story where the family realizes that staying close to Dom means never escaping danger. Letty sees it first. Then Mia. Even Roman and TJ start questioning why every road leads back to chaos. The twist is not Dom turning evil. The twist is Dom realizing that his presence brings destruction, even when his intentions are pure. This would explain why Fast 11 keeps teasing separation instead of reunion. Why characters are getting more independent storylines. Why Hobbs, Shaw, and even Brian's legacy exist outside of Dom's shadow. The saga is slowly preparing the audience for the unthinkable idea that the family can survive without Dominic Toretto leading them. And that realization is more painful than any death scene. Because Dom's entire identity is built on being needed. On being the one who stays when everyone else walks away. If Fast 11 truly wants to end his arc in a powerful way, it won't end with Dom sacrificing himself. It will end with Dom stepping back, watching the family choose a future that doesn't revolve around him, and understanding too late that the greatest mistake he ever made was believing he had to carry everything alone. And the scariest part is that Fast 11 doesn't have to show us the final decision. It can end right before it, with Dom standing there, silent, engines fading away, and the audience left asking the same question he is. What happens to Dominic Toretto when the road no longer needs him? The more you think about Dominic Toretto's journey, the clearer it becomes that Fast 11 isn't building toward a victory, it's building toward a realization. Dom has survived things no human should survive. Crashes that defy physics, explosions that level cities, enemies trained to kill without hesitation. And yet, he keeps standing, not because he's lucky, but because the story refuses to let him rest. Everyone around him is allowed to evolve. Brian chooses peace. Mia chooses distance. Letty chooses balance. Even characters like Roman and TG slowly turn from reckless followers into independent thinkers. But Dom remains exactly where he started. Same rules, same mindset, same belief that as long as he's behind the wheel, everything will be okay. Fast 11 has a unique opportunity to finally challenge that belief, not with a bigger villain, but with absence. Absence of chaos, absence of need, absence of a reason for Dom to fight. Imagine a world where the final mission succeeds too cleanly, where the enemy falls without Dom making the call, where the family coordinates without waiting for his approval. At first, Dom would see this as success, proof that he taught them well. But slowly, something darker sets in. He realizes they don't just survive without him, they thrive, and that thought hits harder than any punch. Because Dom never wanted power, he wanted purpose, and Fast 11 may be the first film brave enough to take that purpose away, not as punishment, but as truth. The family doesn't need a shield forever, and Dom was never meant to be one. This reframes the entire saga. All those speeches about family were never about love alone. They were about responsibility, about carrying weight no one asked him to carry. And now that weight is finally being lifted, not by Dom's strength, but by the family choosing to stand on their own. That's why the ending of Fast 11 doesn't need a dramatic farewell. It needs silence. A moment where Dom is still alive, still capable, still dangerous, but no longer essential. And in that silence, the audience understands something Dom never allowed himself to admit. Being the backbone of the family also meant being the cage. And when the cage opens, not everyone knows how to walk out. Dom standing still while others move forward is not weakness. It's the cost of leadership. And Fast 11 might end not by answering what Dom will do next, but by forcing him to ask the same question we are left with. If the road is finally empty, does Dominic Toretto follow? Or does he stay behind, guarding a legacy that no longer needs protecting. What makes Dominic Toretto such a powerful character is also what traps him in the same loop over and over again. Dom doesn't know how to exist without a threat. Every time peace appears, he subconsciously waits for it to break, because chaos is the only environment where he feels useful. Fast 11 can turn this into its most uncomfortable truth yet by showing that the family no longer shares that mindset. While Dom stays alert, ready for the next war, the others start imagining something he never allowed himself to imagine. An ending, a future that doesn't require constant movement, constant violence, constant sacrifice. This creates a silent gap between Dom and the rest of the family. Not a fight, not a betrayal, just distance. And distance is something Dom has never been able to fix with speed or strength. The more independent the family becomes, the more Dom realizes that his leadership was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to guide them through the storm, not keep them inside it forever. Fast 11 could show this through small moments rather than big speeches. Letty making a decision without asking him. Roman and TJ finishing a mission before Dom even arrives. Mia choosing safety over loyalty, not out of fear, but out of growth. Each moment chips away at Dom's identity until he is forced to confront the one truth he's been avoiding since the beginning. He doesn't know who he is without responsibility. This is why killing Dom would be the easy way out. Death would freeze him as a legend. But Fast 11 seems far more interested in something crueler and more honest. Letting him live long enough to feel unnecessary. Letting him witness the family he built no longer orbit around him. And when Dom finally understands that staying close to him means danger for them, the real sacrifice appears. Not dying for family, walking away from them. That choice would break every rule the franchise ever taught us. Because for Dom, leaving has always meant failure. But Fast 11 might redefine it as love. The willingness to step aside so others can live without looking over their shoulder. And that's why the final moments don't need explosions or a final race. They need Dom alone with a car he no longer has a reason to drive. Engines silent, roads open, and a future that no longer demands his presence. The movie doesn't have to tell us what he chooses next. It only needs to show that for the first time in his life, Dominic Toretto is free. And freedom might be the one thing he never learned how to handle.